Hello everyone, my name is Mireya. For this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a story time video. This is the first story time video that I share with you in this channel. I already recorded this video in Spanish. If you're Spanish speaking, please go check out that video because I think that video is going to be longer than this one. I opened this was the first channel that I did, this English channel. I never thought I would share this with you guys because I don't really share that many personal videos with you guys on this channel. And the reason I am sharing this with you guys is because I know a lot of people are possibly going through many sicknesses, and I just want to let you guys know that you're not alone, that there's always a light at the end of the tunnel. And I want to share my secret with you guys. This is a big secret that I've hid from you guys for the longest time. I have Glanzmann Thrombasthenia. It's a bleeding disorder and it is a genetic disorder that I got through my genes. I'm gonna be leaving you guys a brief explanation here, the scientific or medical explanation, and I'm just gonna explain it to you guys in small terms. That way you guys understand what I'm talking about. But in the blood we all have platelets. I'm pretty sure you guys have heard of hemophilia. Hemophilia is where the platelets, where people don't have as much platelets or there's a major clotting factor. But Glanzmann Thrombasthenia, it's totally different. You have a normal to a great count of platelets. So whenever I get blood tested, I always have my platelets elevated. This was very hard for me to get diagnosed because I didn't get diagnosed till I was about 21, I think. Throughout my life, I live in a very small town where there aren't many doctors here. So every time I would go with a bleeding issue, no doctor was able to diagnose me with what I had. It was very difficult growing with this bleeding disorder throughout the years. But let me finish explaining what this is. So I have many platelets. They just don't have the glue. That's how I always explain it. So let's just say I get a cut, and when you get cut, obviously a whole bunch of blood comes out, and for me it's like squirting blood, and even if I press on it, it does not clot. Inside the blood there are platelets. My platelets don't have that glue, that Glanzmann Thrombasthenia, that glycoprotein, that glue that sticks together. My platelets are lazy. I always say that. My platelets are lazy. They don't want to stick. Some of them are good, some of them aren't. So it takes a very long time for me to heal. I really have to apply pressure for a long time. With this bleeding disorder, some of the symptoms that I've had are nasal hemorrhages. So growing up, I always had a lot of nosebleeds that wouldn't stop. They would last days, and I am not exaggerating. This is true, and I'm being very honest with you guys. I would never lie to you guys about this. I would bleed for days, and my mom would hold my nose, and it would not stop. It kind of would stop a little bit, but it would keep bleeding, and I would form some blood clots inside my nose, and if I would take those out, then it would bleed a lot. So I would usually leave them in there. It was very hard for me to breathe. I wouldn't breathe with my nose. I would have to breathe with my mouth. I bruise very easily. Sometimes I bruise more easily than other days. I really don't know why that is. Sometimes my platelets are lazy. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. Sometimes they form that glycoprotein. Sometimes they stick, sometimes they don't. This morning I was outside with my little one and I got a mosquito bite. That's the cause of that mosquito bite. Can you guys believe it? I know, it's crazy. I mean, throughout the years, I used to hate my bruises and I would hide them with long sleeve sweaters. I wouldn't wear shorts at school. I only wore shorts like twice in high school. I would never wear dresses. But throughout the years, I've learned to love myself and to really accept that I have this bleeding disorder. If God sent this to me, it's because He knows I can take it. So I've learned to love my bruises nowadays. I don't really care what people think, and that's one of the reasons why I would always try to hide them, because I would be afraid of what people are thinking about me. I got it many times. Many friends would say, do your parents hit you? Do they abuse you? Now, after I got married, I did have a friend that came up to me. She said, can we talk? I need to talk to you. She talked to me and she told me, you can trust me. And I was like, yeah, a friend and a co-worker. And I said, yeah, I can trust you. And then she's like, do you feel safe at home? And I was like, yeah. had no idea that she was gonna ask me if my husband beat me, because she did say, you know, I've been noticing, I've known you through many years, and I always notice that you have bruising in your arms, and I just want to make sure that you're safe at home. And I said, yes, I'm safe at home. And it's something I never mentioned to my friends or family. Not a lot of my family does not know that I have this bleeding disorder, because I've always wanted to be known as a healthy person, like a normal person. I never wanted people to know that I have a bleeding disorder, because I feel like, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I'm less of a person than them, or at least that's how I used to feel. Like, oh, she's very delicate. That girl, she gets bruised so easily. And that would be something that would really hurt me. Growing up, it just broke my heart all the time. Like, oh, don't touch her hard, because this girl bruises easily. She's very delicate. And that always broke my heart. And it still does, I guess, because I'm tearing up right now. And I recorded this video in Spanish and I did not tear up. That's crazy. I guess that just brought memories, because one of my friends in school, I mean, I guess she wasn't really my friend, right? But she would call me Delicacy, the delicate girl. And I would just laugh, but it really did break my heart. Well, that was my childhood. I always had a lot of bleeding in my gums, or when I would have loose teeth, I would bleed for days. I would have a lot of like hemorrhages, nosebleeds, that I would have to go to urgent care or go at middle of the night to the hospital to see the doctor. And he always called me his little mouse, or he never knew what was wrong with me, but he would give me some injections, some shots that helped control the bleeding. That was just my childhood. I did suffer a lot during my childhood. Now during my adolescent life, once puberty hits, you're a woman now, you're menstruating. My first period was a hemorrhage. I bled a lot. I did need blood transfusion, and after that, I don't know why the doctors, I just don't know why the doctors never did further testing. I mean, they would do testing, but itchy eye. They were never able to diagnose my bleeding disorder, because obviously my platelets are always normal, so they would never know what was wrong with me. And sometimes, like, I want to blame the doctors for not diagnosing this on time. I'm glad that they finally did, because I was able to find out what I had. I remember the day that I found out that I had the bleeding disorder, because I did have to go to Mayo Clinic. That's a specialty clinic where you get tested for things that doctors can't find out what you have. So it's like it's a research clinic or research hospital that I went to. And my blood test, they had to send them to Rochester, Minnesota. I remember the doctor said, guess what? I know what you have. And instead of me crying or being sad about, oh, I have a bleeding disorder, I was so happy. I was like, thank God, I finally know. I have a name to what I have. I've seen many hundreds of doctors, and finally I was diagnosed with Glanzmann Thrombasthenia, and I was really happy that day. The reason I'm also sharing this with you guys is because throughout the months, or throughout time, I haven't really been taking my vitamins, because I thought I was good, I was feeling good, and I've always taken vitamins throughout my whole life. So I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop them for a while. A doctor did mention to me that it was good to stop for a while because of the liver. So I was like, you know what, I'll stop for a while, and I did, and I got real sick. And it's not the first time it's happened, because sometimes it's not that you're not taking vitamins, or oh, guess what, you didn't take your vitamins, you're gonna get sick. No, it was that sometimes there's no control over this bleeding disorder. Even if you're eating right, healthy, you're taking your vitamins, sometimes there's no control over this. I went to Mexico, and the reason I go over there is because it's so much cheaper than the United States. I have a high deductible with my insurance, so I have to pay a lot when I go to the doctor here. So I went to Mexico, and I told the doctor, you know what, I haven't been feeling well, I need some vitamins. And he's like, you know what, should we check your hemoglobin? I was like, no, I'll do it in the United States. But then I was like, wait a minute, it's so expensive in the United States. It was $8 for me to check my hemoglobin in Mexico. So I got my hemoglobin checked, and I was at 7.2. It was very low. For a woman, you're supposed to be anywhere from 12 to 14, and I had half the blood that you're supposed to have in your body. So I was very severely anemic, and at that point, sometimes I've had blood transfusions in the past when I reach to that hemoglobin. But this time the doctor said, you know what, there's so many risks to getting blood transfusions since I've had some since I've had many in the past. I can create antibodies, and then my body's not going to accept any blood transfusions. So I'd rather not take that route. I know my hematologist here that I see, he would have probably said, you know what, you need a blood transfusion, but I'm glad I didn't. I saw this doctor in Mexico, and he was giving me some iron transfusions through IV. This was my first iron transfusion that I've ever had, so I had a really bad reaction. I was itchy everywhere. My feet started turning purple or black. I don't even know. They were really dark, and I got really scared. And after that, he put like an antidote, or I really don't know what the name of it is, which I do need to ask him what the name of it is, because I need to put that on my medical records, that I have an allergic reaction to this iron. So after that, he put the antidote or whatever, because I guess my body was poisoning itself or something like that, and my throat started closing up. And I told him, you know what, I feel like I'm fainting. I feel like I can't breathe. I felt like my throat was swollen. And after that, my hands started getting swollen, my feet. And after that, well, I went to sleep, but they finished putting the iron transfusion, and I felt really bad like 2 or 3 days after the transfusion. And these are treatments that I have to keep getting because my hemoglobin is so low. So I went the week after, and the doctor, I saw a different doctor, and she's like, you know what, I don't want to put that iron on you because you had that reaction. So she gave me a different iron, and I was really scared because I was reading online that you can even go like into a coma. It was much more expensive, but that's the one I got, and I felt better. But one thing that I need to mention to her, because I do need more treatments because I'm still not well, is that my arms felt so weak, and I do need to call. And I don't feel that now. I did feel it 2-3 days after, but I know I should have called her to mention that, but I didn't think it was like anything that bad as the first time. The first time it was horrible. My feet got so swollen that my shoes didn't fit anymore, and my arms got really swollen. I couldn't walk. It was horrible, but I know it's something that I have to deal with this bleeding disorder. I guess all the complications that I can get. I do want to mention to you guys that I'm going to be sharing a video of Draw My Life, where I'm going to be sharing with you guys all of my bleeding disorder, or everything I've been throughout my whole life till present. So please make sure to subscribe to watch that video. And I don't know what else to say, but if you guys have questions about my bleeding disorder, leave them in the comments below, and I will share a second video with you guys. One thing that I want to mention as well is that a lot of people might be curious, because this is a bleeding disorder that's not very common, and a lot of people might be curious as to how I did it to have my son. I have a baby, and I did go through a lot of complications. I had a high-risk pregnancy, bleeding in the placenta, and I'm probably going to be sharing a story time video with you guys of my pregnancy story or something like that. I do want to share more of this with you guys, because I know that it's a small amount of people that have this bleeding disorder, but if you look online, there aren't many women that have had kids or successful pregnancies with this bleeding disorder. I always thank God every night for this miracle that He sent me, our son. I'm very grateful for that. Throughout the years, like I said, I used to be embarrassed of my bruises, but throughout the years I've learned to love them and to accept my bleeding disorder, and I don't hide my bruises anymore. If I go to the store, I don't care what people think. I know it sounds bad, but I really don't care if they think whatever they want to think, as long as I know what I have, and that's pretty much it. I mean, they can think whatever. If I go to a pool and I have bruises all over my legs, you know what, they can think whatever they want. I don't really care, because by the end of the day I don't really know them, and I'll probably never see them again. I think that's something we should all learn from this, that there are some people that you see them happy, because that's how I like to present myself in the videos. You see them happy and you never know what they're dealing with in their lives. You don't know if they're going through any health issues. You just never know. And that's something that we should all learn from this, that when you see someone, please don't always think the worst of them. Please always try to help someone out. Yep. Thanks for watching, and I'd like to apologize really quick to my family. If they're watching this video, anyone that knows me, I'm sorry that I never mentioned this bleeding disorder to you guys, friends, family. It's something that I've always wanted to keep personal, but the time has come for me to share this with the world. Thanks for watching, and I will see you. Thanks for watching, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye.